You have been updated.
The Merkaba. That's a sweet ride. The Merkaba is a huge discussion, so I'm going to keep it snappy for today. Think of the Merkaba as a cosmic vehicle. It's more than that, though. It's very protective. This would be like a government vehicle that can be driven into war. So don't let this get too spiritual and out there for you, because the Merkaba can protect you in the real world. I don't have a Merkaba figure, and that's something I want to get my hands on. But as an example, I do have this. You guys have seen me show this many times on my channel. This is Metatron's cube. Similar. The Merkaba, though, I'll show you a little figure. 2 triangles, but they are 3-dimensional. One goes up, one goes down. Doesn't that look familiar? That's like the masculine and the feminine symbols, right? The feminine and the masculine, and they spin. Look up Merkaba meditation or something like that, and you will see videos of these figures spinning at lightning speed. Now, Merkaba. We can break it up into 3 words. Mer means light, Ka, spirit, and Ba, body. So if we look at the word Merkaba, light, spirit, body. To me, the Merkaba is much more than an ordinary chariot or vehicle. This would be like riding on the back of an angel. This is angel technology. That's how I look at the Merkaba. That's how I have experienced it. Because that's really what I'm talking about today. Not some, I'm going to call it a theological concept, even though some people may get mad at me for that. This is something that I've been aware of since I was a child. And I came from the Christian side of things, even though I deeply studied the Old Testament, because I was fascinated with Ezekiel especially. Right? If you're gonna do anything in that vein, like the prophets, the mystics, the witches, the magicians, you're gonna need protection. And not just protection, you're gonna need a sweet ride like this to travel with. Say you get yourself stuck somewhere. You know, when we talk about astral projection, I've always done that, and I didn't really think much of it until I got into the new age. You know, I wasn't allowed to study any of the stuff that I study now. It was only Christian material, right? And I learned a lot. Even within those very, very strict confines, I found a way to pick out the pieces that actually mattered. But anyways, the Merkaba, the chariot. This is the vision I saw, which is really what leads me to this message today. You have been updated. The way the Merkaba looks to me, and it's available to anyone who dares. It looks kind of like a holographic technology that appears in front of me. Screens, buttons, sounds, kind of like a force field or a shield, but it's alive. It's like a vehicle. You can use it to travel places. Now, what I was saying before with the astral travel is something that I started to see a few years ago when I started putting terms to experiences that I had, because for me it was backwards. I had all the experiences, but I didn't have words for them. I couldn't find the words in the Christian church for those things. Even in the fringe of the fringe, I looked. Trust me, I looked everywhere, and I found bits and bobs, but not many, right? So yeah. Eventually, I was pulled out of my beloved frame and hurled to the wolves to figure things out for myself after my spiritual awakening. I mean, my Christian deconversion back in 2021, which is what led me to ideas like astral projection. But you'll see people feeling afraid, like, what if I can't get back into my body, for example? That's a common concern that I see. And I always think back in. The way that the Merkaba feels to me is I'm getting in a cosmic vehicle and I'm going somewhere else. But it's all inside. You're not really going anywhere. So the fear of what if I can't get back into my body? People talk about the silver cord and all that. I think, anyways, I'm gonna stay on topic. The Merkaba, the cosmic vehicle, the interdimensional vehicle, angel technology or ET technology, however you feel more comfortable explaining beings that are above you, right? Some people will not bow their knee to a mentor, and that's fine, but I personally feel like that's very foolish. So, the only way that you're ever going to learn is to be wrong. And I was wrong many, many, many times. And every time I bowed my knee to the angel that carried me from one place to another. Now I'm calling it an angel. I'm personifying it now. Is it really an angel or is it more of a vehicle? I do believe it's a technology. I believe it's like a vehicle or a chariot. It's a technology that can protect you, number one. So it's like a force field. It's a shield over your aura. It's divine protection. That's what we usually call it, right? So it's a form of divine protection, and that's what people need most. I find that's step one. If you're in a war zone, you're not thinking about the kumbaya. You're thinking about, I'm afraid, I need protection, and I need it immediately. I would actually recommend, if you're feeling that way, get your hands on some black tourmaline. It's it kind of crusts apart almost like a croissant or something. It's very flaky. I always go to food. But it's what I mean by that is the texture of it. It kind of just it feels like dirt. It feels like salt or dirt or something that you would feel when you put your hands into the ground. So I feel like if you can I did this the other night when I was having an intense panic attack and I couldn't breathe, and my chest hurt really bad, and I felt like I was like going out of consciousness. So like a really, extreme panic attack. And I had, some would call it a spiritual attack. Not a panic attack, but I'm going to stay out of that today. My last few videos showcase that side of things. I'm going to speak from a different angle today to protect myself, right? So, the Merkaba. This is the solution. But I had my hands inside of a bag of black tourmaline in it. Just feeling it between my fingers and my nails and holding it in my hand inside the bag so it doesn't get all over my car. That can help ground you. If you're feeling like panic, or you're feeling like you're being psychically attacked, or you feel like you're in some sort of danger, spiritually speaking, right? But back to the Merkaba and the main topic of the day. You're probably like, what are you saying? What's the point of this? What are you saying? Okay. Some of you are not like that. Some of you are really here to help you fill in the gaps of your own journey that you're already on. So the things I would be saying are these would be welcome things. These would be things that you're like, those are the missing pieces of what I've already been looking into, or this is the path I've already been going down. This helps me because it helps bring to consciousness the things that have already been in my subconscious mind, and that's my intention. It's never really to tell you something you don't already know, right? It might just help put language to things. But anyways, what is the point of this? You have been updated, the Merkaba. This is what I want to explain. I went through an update, and they showed it to me like that. They showed it to me like when you update your phone, or you update your iOS system. For example, like the other day I updated my iPhone and it said, your iPhone has been updated. That's this message. You can end it here, really. You have been updated. But I could talk for 3 more hours, so I'm going to do that. No, I'm just kidding. I stepped inside the Merkaba, or it stepped out from within me. Like an angel wrapping their wings of protection around me. Take me to the rock that is higher than I. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, to mock them. Right? To mock them. You're fine. You're having dinner. And they have to watch as you feast upon the cornucopia of blessings that they tried to snatch out of your hands. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I took care of a lady years ago. She was like 91. She taught me how to watercolor paint, and she was like a grandmother to me. I loved her dearly. And she had 2 cats, Shirley and Mercy. Her name was Shirley. I didn't want to say her name. But in order to understand I have to say her name in order to understand it. Her name was Shirley, and she had 2 cats named Goodness and Mercy, and they were tuxedo cats. So she would say, Shirley, Goodness, and Mercy will follow me all the days of my life. So she built that promise into her physical reality, which is much like something the Merkaba would teach us. Because the Merkaba, it's a cosmic, it's like the 5th element, space, right? So we have the physical plane, but the Merkaba is not residing in the physical plane, although I will say I do believe it can protect you in the physical reality. And I do believe it can help move you from one place to another. But this is how I see the Merkaba. It's like a time machine. It's outside of time. So say, for example, you're in a shitty situation. You want to get out of it. Take the Merkaba for a spin. Because what happens with the Merkaba is you are moved in this vehicle to another place, to another reality. Are you physically moved in that moment to that place and to that reality? Not necessarily. But like the magician, and you could say this is the same man that is the magician. This is the magician, really, driving this charioteer. Anyways, this is the same guy. But yeah, that's what I like to see it as anyways. Say you want to get out of a shitty situation and you don't know how. You need like help, right? Now, some of us will have pride and say, I don't need anyone and I don't need any help. Well, then I don't know what to tell you, Buster Brown. We need to take a knee. I'm a millennial. Now, I didn't grow up like a lot of people did. I was homeschooled. I spent like 10 years as a hermit in my bedroom praying. I thought I was like born to be an intercessor. I read all these like books of the saints and the prophets, and I thought I wasn't going to be like in society. I thought I was going to be kind of like one of those ladies wearing the prayer shawl and just like interceding and praying for people. I thought I was going to be a missionary. But it was literally like they wouldn't let me do that. Like they wanted me. So anyways, I'm just not like normal. So you might think I look normal and stuff. Well, someone the other day said I have an uncanny presence, so some of you definitely don't think I'm normal, and that's fine. Some people think I'm extremely strange, and some people attack me because they think I'm like a normal person that they need to be in competition with. So I'm sure a lot of you feel that way as well. It's like on one hand, you're like this creature, this alien that nobody understands, and you're alone in the world. And on the other hand, you could find this strange phenomenon that you have this light. Many of you relate to this. You have this light that people attack and they hate and they compete with you and they compare themselves against you. So it's very strange. It's like that's what, to me, that's the Merkaba. Like that's the energy of these sphinxes, where it is kind of like a yin and yang. It's like on one hand, you could be loved, and on another you could be hated. And to me, that's the making of a master. That's a magician, that's a prophet, that's a teacher, that's, I'm thinking of like the Hierophant. I'm thinking of the hermit, the magician, right? The high priestess. Anything that holds duality like that. Like you could even find that you don't even understand yourself because you have so many competing sides of you that are always like arguing for the mic or to be the one who's presenting, like to be the one who's walking through I was gonna say the mall, but who goes to malls anymore? I always have dreams about malls. I don't know why. I'm always walking through malls. I meet dead people at malls. I communicate with the dead in my dreams, like at the mall. I don't know what that's about, but I have heard some really interesting theories about gate kids and how they all have like mall dreams. It's very strange. If you go down the wormhole on TikTok, and who knows if I feel like about 90% of the stuff online is just a complete lie and totally fake. So that's just me. I'm an old cynic, right? But today I'm talking about something that, is legitimate. It's a very ancient. You can find so much information. Like if you just type in Merkaba, you will find 3 years of study material, and you've only scratched the surface of something like the Merkaba. So back to it. You have been updated to an updated system. Your system has been updated. And really what that is it's an answer to a prayer or a manifestation that you've had to get you out of some sort of situation that has been very challenging for you. This Merkaba is moving you out of that currently. But that's where this gets trippy, is because you may not see any changes necessarily in your physical reality. And that's because the physical has not yet caught up with the spiritual. Your system has been updated already, but the effects have yet to catch up with that. So in practical terms, this could look like in another reality, the place this Merkaba has taken you, another timeline, another place, another version of yourself, another version of reality. The place that this has taken you exists. Now, I'm going to use a super practical example. It could be like, in this next reality, you have gone up a tax bracket. You are making more money in this other place. Another example, it could be you've wanted love, you've wanted connection with another person. In this other reality, you are with another person that loves you and respects you and treats you with love, with kindness and care, compassion, and you feel like, well, it's kind of like this Merkaba, right? The two intersecting triangles. And for those of you who are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it is a upward facing triangle and a downward facing triangle that are intersecting. But think of it this way, they're 3D. So, and they're spinning. So there's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of, you could call it passion. This is a Cancer energy. I mean, Cancers, to me, a Cancer is like the waves of the sea, and its depths are the same. And think about how much of this planet is covered with water, and think about our bodies and how it is mostly water. I think of Cancer as the reservoir. Not that the other water signs are not. I just see Pisces as more of a Neptunian situation, since Cancer is ruled by the moon, and I see Scorpio as more of a Mars or a Pluto situation where it's these different aspects of water, right? So for me, Cancer, this is the reservoir. This is the depths of yourself. It's the fourth house. It's the roots. It's the roots of the tree. It's the family. It's when everybody else is gone and you're alone in your house, who are you? Who are you when you're at home? And some of you have wanted to find home. I'm hearing ET, phone home. This is going to feel like an alien encounter for some of you. It's going to feel like an ET experience. Like some of you may even have paranormal activity where, you feel like you're being transported, even like literally, like you're physically being transported. I mean, I've heard all sorts of stories where people, they were standing in one place and then they were transported into another place, or I'm not going to get into that, but I have a lot of, I'm really interested in like NDEs and, or I was many years ago. I've had like 5 lives where I've given my all to something for long enough of a period of time where I could have gone down that road for the rest of my life, but then I veered off into another path. I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of like 5 different ways I could have gone, and one of those was having to do with these sorts of paranormal activities that I'm talking about here. I do look at the Merkaba as paranormal. I do look at the Merkaba as a higher level intelligence, kind of like an alien visitation or a UFO, or an angel appears to you and you fall down on the ground and the angel says, "Be not afraid, I'm here to help you." It's that sort of, it's high frequency, crystalline frequency that it's kind of like a dog whistle. Like if a dog hears that sound that we can't hear with our ear, but the dog can hear it. This is like a dog whistle for a spiritual person. Not everyone can detect this frequency because they are not on high enough of a frequency in order to be able to hear it. So you have heard the sound of the chariot, and it's an answer to your prayer, or it's a manifestation coming true. And I'm just kind of explaining the inner mechanics of what happens. It's kind of like looking at the inner mechanics of a miracle. What is a miracle? And what's inside that box? I just heard the black box of Saturn. These sphinxes are guides. They're pulling the charioteer. You are being... Well, you have already been updated. Your system, you are operating at a higher level or a higher degree than you were before. Some of you are being slowed way down. I'm taking my time because this message is only for people who I've intended it to reach. So we're going to take our time and let all the haters drop off. Because this is not for you. So, I just heard Knights of the Templar. Interesting. Yeah, look, just as I said that, that's funny. The 5 of Swords, and I only say stuff as a presentation, as a representation for you, to show you. Like, imagine as I'm talking, you're talking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I only say things and demonstrate things so that you feel like that's me saying that. I'm saying that. That would be you saying, that's me saying that. Right? Because look, it's in the cards. This is you. That was a harsh thing I just said. It's the Queen of Swords. But you have to be. You have to be when people are coming for your neck. Right? With the 5 of Swords. This is not 5 of Wands. This is 5 of Swords. This is not just envy. This is orchestrated attempts. 3 of Pentacles with the 5 of Swords to systematically take you down from the inside. There could be like a mole here that, I'm calling it a mole. bring it back down to earth. Let's bring it back down to the practical Knight of Pentacles, because that's what they're showing for me to do. For some of you, they're slowing you way down, but this is the funny thing. It feels like you're speeding up because you're operating on such a high frequency. You could call it your brain, but I would refrain. It's not necessarily you have an intellectual understanding with the Queen of Swords. Like, for example, we're looking at a concept, the Merkaba. Queen of Swords, you're very intelligent. You know what's being presented. You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't, you're going to take like 5 minutes and look into it. You're going to type it in on Google and be like, oh yeah, I already kind of understood that concept. These are just the words for it. Okay, lock that in. Got it. Okay. Merkaba, that's what's been happening to me. I've been ascending because the Merkaba is also an ascension tool. It's an ascension tool. It gets you to a higher frequency. It doesn't just move forward like a car on the road. It also moves up and down. So think of it that way. And it moves through time. It doesn't just move within a 24-hour frame. It moves outside of that frame. So again, you could be working on, remember how before I used a practical example, like you could be making more money? Excuse me, confirmation. 3 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. And I am going to grab some cards, but the message is you have been updated. Your surroundings, your 3D surroundings just have not caught up with that yet. You could even be being attacked right now with the 5 of Swords, right? And the 3 of Pentacles, where there's orchestrated attempts to come against you. I mean, this could even be by a group, right? So this would be almost like a side topic from what I'm talking about today. But the reason why you would need the Merkaba is because of what I'm explaining, right? Help! It's the Merkaba. It's coming. It's coming to save you, even though you're really the one saving yourself. You're the magician. This is your chariot. You're the charioteer. But it's tapping you into a higher level frequency, technology, and assistance. See these people here? These are the ones that work between the realms, the 3 of Pentacles. They are the ones who are, look at it like an operating room. That's funny. I wasn't thinking operating as in like surgery. You know, we do have the Queen of Swords. So it's also that. Some of you are having like open heart chakra surgery, so to speak, where they are healing you. I'm thinking if I'm going to have to make this 2 parts or not. All right. So, because first, this is what they said to me in the bathroom when I was getting ready, right before I started filming this. They said, you've been updated, but it's like a surgery. And I forgot all about them. It's like a dream when I get these downloads. It feels like I'm dreaming. I know a lot of you relate. They said, it's like having a surgery. After you have a surgery, there needs to be recovery time. So some of you may even feel a little bit like freaked out as this update is manifesting fully, because you're in this limbo period with the 2 of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. It could feel like it's taking a little bit long, but really all it is, guys, is they gave me the analogy of like if you get a surgery and you just need a little time. You know, sometimes you have to lay in bed for weeks, you know, after you get a surgery, or sometimes you have to go to rehab after or whatever. And I'm not trying to scare you guys. If that's, you would know. You consented, and it has nothing to do with me. You consented to something else that's with your team, right? And they're just having me explain the procedure, basically, so that your mind can come into communion with your physical reality and your spiritual reality, because this is so high level. This is so intense for some people here that this is going to blast you into outer fucking space with the Merkaba and the Ace of Wands. This is going to, for some of you, this is that message that I've said multiple times on my channel. You're getting all your energy back. All the energy that was siphoned from you. That's a different angle. I don't want to get into that. I want to stay on the Merkaba thing, but for some of you, this is the other angle. You're getting all your energy back. What's happening is it's almost like it's opening you up again to the reality. Like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I'm in a fucking Merkaba right now. Why am I sad? Like I'm literally encased in angel ET technology that is transporting me currently to my wish fulfillment with the Nine of Cups. And for some of you, it's transporting you to like a person, whatever you like, right? For some of you, it's a group like that's going to care for you, the exact opposite of what you could have come from. But I don't want to get too deep into that. All right, let me just organize my cards. Okay, we're back. Some of you may feel that way, like, oh, I'm back. Have you ever had that phenomenon before? Where you go off on some spiritual, astral, and I don't mean it as in maybe, but I don't mean astral as in you're laying down in a deep meditation and you're seeing visions, or you're traveling somewhere, or you're lucid dreaming. I'm not really talking about that. I'm actually talking about in your waking life. That you're between the lines of reality. So this is an example. You could feel a weird sense of duality happening, and it could feel like it's kind of splitting your consciousness. And that's why we have the Two of Swords with the Queen of Swords. I'm just going to do a part 2 because I'm going to take my time, because people are always rushing me. And that's been a thing through my whole life, is that it's because people actually just hate me. It's not about them. You know, they are just impatient, but it's also just they can't stand to hear me speak. I had a phenomenon with Globus sensation a few years ago where I actually couldn't eat solid food for months and months. This was also when I was living on a 3rd-story apartment, and my back, I don't want to go into a whole thing, but I'm going to use this as an example. This is an example. A few years ago, it was such a traumatic event that I couldn't even walk around. So yeah, it was like the most pain I had ever experienced in my entire life. Something happened in my back. And I don't want to go into that. And then something happened with my throat. I personally believe it had to do with this, because they were moving me. And I look at it twofold as a high priestess. It's the light and it's the dark, right? So we have the white and we have the black sphinxes. It's just like the high priestess, the pillars of the high priestess. He has them too. This is just like more of a masculine version of that concept. Because he's on the move in a car and she's seated. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean male and female. I mean, anyways. Sometimes people just hate you and they want to stop you. 5 of Swords. And they want to keep you stuck. 2 of Swords. They don't want to see you outshine them, outgrow them. They can't stand to see that. So for me, it's that story where I couldn't eat for months. All I could eat was soup and those little Ensure things. The same Ensure things that I used to have to convince my elderly client to drink, who I really loved. This was another lady that I took care of for years, dear to me as well. Old Polish lady. I was the only one she liked. Like, she was so mean to everyone, but she liked me. um, and I would give her that Ensure every day, and she'd go, nah, nah. She hated it. So there I was a couple years later drinking that same Ensure to keep myself like alive because I couldn't eat. To me, it felt like a serpentine energy clamping around my neck like a boa constrictor until I couldn't breathe anymore. That's what it felt like. Now, was it that? I'll leave it up for you to decide because I have my answer. But it's according to medical professionals, it was psychosomatic and there was no like cure for it and there was no like reason for it. Except for, it being psychosomatic and like stress induced and stuff, which that was absolutely the case. I do believe on the other side of things with the Queen of Swords. My body, my mind, my soul, my spirit was under so much stress in 2021 when I was leaving my religion. You know that song by REM, Losing My Religion. I was so between worlds. One of the darker periods. The dark aeon. Right? But this is what I'm trying to say to you. I was in the Merkaba. That was happening because I was moving. Right? Now, was I being attacked because I was moving and they were trying to hold me back? And they were trying to attack me psychically and spiritually so that I could not move forward and have a mental breakdown, have a nervous breakdown, have a psychotic break. Was that the intention? Probably. But what was also simultaneously happening is I was ascending. So you could look at it, I suggest to look at it from both angles so that we take multiple sides into account, and I would say much more than two angles. I would also bring in like the psychological. You don't want to look crazy out here because it's dangerous for you. That's what I'm trying to help you with, okay? So you could be right about what you're saying. Just make sure, you only say it to the right people, right? So yeah, I'm trying to help you. Be wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove. Right? Because there's reptilians out here. But again, let's bring it back to reality. Perceived reality, anyways. The update. I had an update like I'm discussing today. I'm going through another one currently, but I had one back in 2021 when I was leaving my Christian worldview. And everyone was against me. Everyone I ever knew. And it was extreme to the point like I felt like I was dying physically. Like in the past, trigger warning, it was more I struggled with like drugs, alcohol. I self-harmed myself, scars all over my arms for many years. For almost 2 decades, I self-harmed myself, right? That was one story. But this story here, this was a new phenomenon. I was physically attacked, right? But this is what I'm trying to give you today, is a little hope. Where's my angel? That you are actually an angel on the move. Are you being spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally attacked? Probably. But are you also ascending and moving to a higher plane of consciousness, so high in fact that it's quaking in the energy fields of these demons that rise up out of people to attempt to destroy you because they see that you're having some sort of an update or an upgrade? I'll leave all those questions up to you to answer, right? For me, I see it as an update. It requires sacrifice. And the only way out is through. Hell is other people, all that, right? Life is suffering. um Jesus said, a prophet is without honor in his own hometown. The only people that hated Jesus were the people who knew him, right? You have been updated. The update is already complete, and you could have seen what was happening as some sort of spiritual or psychological or even physical attack for some people here. I'm not saying that those things didn't all happen or aren't still currently happening for some. What I'm here to explain is when you're going through a dark, narrow tunnel and you don't know when you're ever going to see the light of day again, this message is, hi, you're actually operating on such a high frequency that you are time traveling right now. You are so above everything that's happening that it's almost like their hands are going through your body like a hologram. That's how I'm seeing it, these attacks. It's like you could be affected, don't get me wrong, because I had those experiences and I'm having some current ones, right? Having some current ones, bless the Lord. And it's so traumatic that it's flashing me back to to war times, right? But I know better. And that's why I'm here to be the bearer of good news. Is that whenever these things happen to you, these negative seeming things, what's actually happening and what's the purpose of this? Well, it's an answer to your prayer or your manifestation, depending on the way you want to look at it. You are being moved. You are being upgraded. You are being blessed with something better, an update, an upgrade. But in order to get there, there is a cost. And people get pissed at me when I say that, and that's fine. But it's like, say we take all the spiritual shit out of it. Say we're at a business convention right now, or we're at like a tech convention. Let's use business because we have the King of Pentacles. Say we're at a business convention right now. There's nothing spiritual, no Merkaba, none of this shit, right? And we're talking business. If you're trying to open a business, it's like, it's hard, right? Like you have to do certain things to make that possible. Or say it's sports with the King of Wands. Like you have to get up and train every single day. And if someone's coming to the coach and crying and saying, I can't do this, then you just simply can't play in the game. And some people get pissed at me for that. Oh, I was saying that way at the beginning of the show. I'm a millennial, but I find there's no reverence in my generation. Like that's what I was saying earlier to you, that some people look at me like I'm a normal person. I don't relate to really anything like of my time. And I find myself feeling like I'm floating through space sometimes. And I feel like some of you relate to that. You could call it old-fashioned. I would call it more you live in a different you not a different dimension, but it's kind of like at a higher frequency than other people. So it's like you're missing each other, right? So this message is to comfort those of you, the other weirdos out here. All us weirdos out here, is to say you're actually going through an update, or you already really have at the time of you seeing this, but you might be like, well, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? I don't see anything in my physical life. I've seen no changes. Things take time. You know, back when I was having my previous update, back at my old apartment before I moved to my house, that was when I had left my Christian ministry behind that I had built, and I really cared about it, that I started building back in 2019. And it felt like it was just getting going and it was doing well. And then the angel appeared to me and was basically like, you're not doing this anymore. We're moving you. I blindly trusted. I had no idea that going down that path was going to result in a spiritual deconversion and a spiritual awakening that led me away from everything I knew and everyone I knew, causing them to turn against me, right? And to betray me and to lie, and feeling like you just have no one and you're completely alone and you're afraid, and people are leveraging things against you with like threats. Like if you're connected to certain people that they have some sort of like perceived control over you, and you're already kind of beat up, so you have to kind of like comply in order to make sure that you keep things balanced enough in order for you to stay like sane enough and clear enough and consistent enough as you work on some sort of like plan of escape. And this is what I'm here to say to you. You're not alone. And you're in the Merkaba. This is a protective shield. It's a high-level technology implanted within the program of the vehicle that you're currently riding in. And you're being moved out of something. You might just not see with your physical eyes yet the results, but as above, so below. It will fully manifest in your physical reality. Like say you feel like you're drowning in debt or something like that. I mean, we have some really good financial cards here. Or say you are feeling like uninspired in your life and you don't know what to do next. We have the Ace of Wands and the King of Wands. See, you're going through an update, an upgrade, but at first it's going to feel like you're being demoted, or I'm hearing you're being deported. And yeah, I would love to speak on that, to be honest with you. I had this experience the other night. I was in the car, and I felt this overwhelming surge of emotion come over me, and then I was transported somewhere into someone else's like situation, and I heard myself say as this other person, "I'm not an illegal alien." And they were being like taken away from like their family, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. And there's room for panic. And so the best thing to do right now is to stay as grounded as possible and to move as slow as you possibly can in the 3D. And if this message doesn't apply to you, It's not your message, right? Only take what resonates and leave the rest for the next guy. You're getting in the chariot. In the 3D, move slow, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed, slow down, and stay balanced, and just keep slowly doing your daily tasks with the 3 of Pentacles. Everything's working out for you. Everything is always working out for you. But in the higher dimensional reality, you're not moving slow at all. You're moving very, very, very fast. You're moving at lightning speed. And for some of you, this is all like it's not, a physical thing. It's like an emotional thing with the 5 of Cups. Like you could be going through an intense inner space right now where you could be facing things that you are transcending above, but also simultaneously transmuting. So it's like you're moving into another dimension or a higher level timeline, but at the same time, you're also transmuting all of this stuff here, this 5 of Swords and 5 of Cups. I know I said I'm going to get cards, but I'm actually going to get cards in my next reading because I have these here and these tell the tale. But I'm going to continue speaking on this because I want to show where are we going. We're going to talk about where we're going, but I just wanted to finish that thought. You're transmuting all of this stuff. So it's not just going to waste. It's going to be turned into gold. It's going to be turned into emotional fulfillment. It's going to be turned into wisdom with the Hermit, right? It's none of this goes to waste. Not one tear, not one feeling of ostracization or being alone. I'm sorry, guys. It took like everything in me to get this done today, and this is my work, so I need to get this done. And so if I'm a little like Queen of Swords with it today, don't take it personally, guys. Like, I love you guys. Like, I'm so happy you're here, and I love each and every one of you. And like, obviously I'm not just gonna be like talking at you like this if I were like face to face with you, but I've just got to get the message out, you know what I'm saying? So don't take offense to that ever, guys. I just so you know, right? There's multiple things going on here. Okay. I'm here to explain what's happening to you. Okay? Because I've done this before. That's what I was trying to explain, is that it could almost feel like a bit of deja vu, like how I had the back thing and the throat thing. It's like that energy of that time in 2021 was surfacing again in another form. And last time it was such an update, guys. Like, I went from a version of myself to the one that is now over the past like 5 years or so, right? 4 years really. 4 complete years. And that was like a seemingly impossible journey, and here I am. So I'm not saying your life's going to be impossible and all that. This is to help comfort people, comfort the oppressed and the afflicted, right? The people that feel like they need a message like this. You know what I'm saying? So is that this is very similar. I'm going through another one of these, and I'm going to stay on camera the whole time. I thought about not, right? I thought about like taking a sabbatical. And instead, I'm going to show, not tell this time. So this is what I'm seeing in conclusion, and then I'm going to start another reading right after this because I don't have time this week, and I want to get my 3 readings out, and they're not going to stop me, right? Because again, it is a spiritual attack as well. So let's not downplay that. It's absolutely psychic attacks for who this message is applying to. But what's being transmuted are those attacks, and are your response the things that those attacks are bringing up in you. It could be bringing up emotional distress. It could be bringing up physical issues for some of you, and I'm not prophesying that on you. I'm saying, like, if that happens to be the case, this would be confirmation. It could be, 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords. That's tough, 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 right? So if you're in there right now, you're actually in the fucking Merkaba, dude. You are flying high. So high, in fact, that you actually are invisible. But I'm going to talk about that in my next reading. So, much love, everybody. It's been Missy Gordon, the Metamystic, here. Next time we will look at where you are going and any other information that you need to know if you find yourself flying through the skies in the cosmic vehicle. If you would like to book a personal with me, you can always come on down. I love reading for you guys, and I want to thank everyone who donates to support the show. I really, really appreciate it, everybody. And thank you for sharing your stories. I love to read your comments. And I always welcome people to share thoughts that they have. And remember, you can always listen to The Metamystic Show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. EST, as well as on my YouTube channel at The Metamystic. You can also get daily short readings from me, 3-minute readings on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at The Metamystic if you want to catch readings every single day. I'd love to connect with you guys over there. You can follow me on all my platforms, and I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.